All right, I have deglossed, cleaned everything up, taken all the dirt off. I do use this product to degloss. It is great. And I'm about to begin with the paint. Next step.
Okay, I'm taping. What is this refinish called?
Refinishing a table.
I know, but what are you using?
I'm using HTP paint, Heirloom Traditions paint. And the top is going to be walnut gel stain.
Sweet. We've used that a lot in this house. It's turned out really nice. We'll take a few pictures of some of the items and so you can see how they've turned out. Dressers, tabletops, etc. So I'm just going to let her do what she's doing. As you can see, she's got to prep the surface. How much sanding do you have to do? A lot, or just rough it up?
I use a deglosser also by Heirloom Traditions paint. I'm just getting the excess paint off the edges. So when I'm ready to do the top, it's all ready.
And you already did the bottom, so you're basically...
one more coat on the bottom.
Alright, well, when you're done, we'll see it. So basically, deglosses it, and then you just do... You don't even sand it then? Just degloss it?
The deglosser works like a charm.
So you don't even have to sand it. So what's that? Just a base coat you're going to put on now?
No, that's the color.
That's the color for the bottom.
Yeah, I have one more coat to put on.
Did you just brush it?
Yep.
So now you're going to do the gel stain.
I have to turn that on at some point because it's kind of kinky. Be a fun smell in here today.
It's what?
It'll be a fun smell. It'll be roast cooking and walnut gel stain. People will walk in.
Yeah, see, well, she'll make her... Not from the roast beef, but from the gel stain. So is this just a semi-solid, or is this a solid kind of stain?
Yeah, it's solid, but it's not. Depends on how much you apply. You don't have to sand with this.
Will it cover up all the dog marks?
Mm-hmm.
Because our dogs have a habit of jumping up on stuff. Is it as hard as that other stuff you've used for these things? That seem to hold...
It's the same thing.
That stuff's held up to glasses and you like... What is this stuff called?
This is Heirloom Traditions paint, walnut gel stain.
You like the Heirloom Traditions. And by the way, they do not pay us for any endorsement. She just has found it to be quite effective.
Yes, holds up.
Some of the stuff that we've used it on is held up to grandson and dogs and cats and so you pretty much just put a kind of a light coat on it. And do you do this in multiple coats?
You can. You can make it darker if you want, or just give it a... I just kind of want to do a light coat.
All right, second coat has been applied, and then she's going to start working on the top here next. As you can see, it looks pretty cool. So yeah, I suppose we need the fan on for this. Yeah, that's got a definite odor to it. So what's the deglosser you use first? Is that just
It takes dirt and excess paint. Doesn't take it all off. It just gives it a coat on it. You kind of put it on. It's like a soap when you put it on, and then you wipe it off, and it's
just
not as glossy, and the paint adheres really well. It's also good if you spill paint, because if you use the deglosser, it'll take the paint right out of your carpet or whatever you spill it on.
Really? Who makes the deglosser?
Heirloom Traditions.
Really? Well, there's a helpful tip in case you need to take paint out of a carpet or something else. Do the brush strokes show up, or that's something that you kind of want?
If you put it on thicker, they won't. It'll just be a solid, but if you want like kind of wood grain light strokes in it, you can. Put it on lighter.
So you're kind of going for the wood grain like?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
But enough on there to make sure all the scratches are covered. And
so see, you're pulling it to make sure there's no stoppage marks. So if you pull it across, that's where you get the long. Okay, start again.
you can put polyacrylic coat on after if you want. It does harden. It does take 30 days completely hardening.
This or the polyacrylic, or both?
We're going to put polyacrylic on because of the dogs.
And then that's a 30-day hardening process. So what do you do to keep the dogs off it in that period of time? Just cover it?
If you put the polyacrylic on, you don't have to worry about it. If you don't want to put the polyacrylic on, you have to let it set
For 30
days.
Okay.
Then it hardens up completely.
So if you want to just leave the straight stain on, it'll harden in 30 days, and it is pretty hard.
Yeah.
But if you want to protect it right away, then you put the polyacrylic on. Is that still made by the same company?
No.
That's something different?
Yep. You can just go get that at the store.
of your choice. And will that affect the drying underneath or of this product?
No. You want the polyacrylic. If you use polyurethane, it actually yellows it.
So that will yellow it?
Polyurethane will, not the polyacrylic.
So polyacrylic stays clear.
Yes.
And urethane yellow. So you're going to use acrylic so that it's clear. Okay, that's a good tip. Alright. We'll come back when it's time for the polyacrylic coat. Okay, this is the gel stain. I mean, it's not obviously dry yet. Everything she said she uses is water-based except for that gel. The gel is one-time use of the brush, she said, and then she usually just gets rid of it, but it looks pretty good. When she gets ready to put the polyacrylic, we'll videotape that, but it's looking pretty good so far. And here is her end project. Turned out really, really, really beautiful. The finish is nice. It looks great in the sunshine in the early morning. And whole different piece. Before it was scratched the heck up by our beloved dogs, but now it's given new life and a brand new part in our house. Here's an example of another piece of furniture she did. This turned out very well. Had to do some repair work on it. It's been in her family for a long time, but I had to fix some of the drawers and the laminate on it. Turned out pretty nice though. And that top, we've been using it for a while, so it's very durable. And here's another piece. Had to do some repairs on. Wish I could have showed you this one. See down here, I had to actually repair that. It was actually broken off, but you can't really tell with the pieces of wood that I cut to fill that in, but with her way she used this technique, it is pretty durable. I mean, it was done a long time ago already, and it's taken quite a bit of beating. She used the same technique on this desk, and that desk gets quite a bit of use, and then that file cabinet. And up north, I think I showed you guys. I will be showing you that, and that same technique. And this was pretty scratched up and beat up. So this is one of my more favorite techniques that she's done. As you can see, this really cleaned. It's not an old piece, but it's kind of a weird looking piece, but now it kind of matches their floor that we did and everything else. This is one of my favorite pieces she did is this technique. You can tell it matches the floor and the couches, and it was an odd piece. Now it fits right in. She's done that on a couple that are up north that I took some pictures of. She'll be finishing the other piece in a little bit.